Liberate your kingdom! Reclaim your destiny! From the masterminds that brought you 13 Sentinels, Odin Sphere and Dragon's Crown, Atlas and Vanillaware bring you Unicorn Overlord! In this tactical RPG with retro flair and beautiful 2D art, guide Elaine, a young prince, on a journey to liberate 5 nations from the Empire's dominion. Recruit a grand army of over 60 unique characters, from humans and elves to massive beasts and heavenly angels. Explore the world, reclaim and build towns, train allies, collect and customize weapons, and then formulate your next strategy to defeat your enemies. However, being a leader means having to make the tough choices. But the least difficult choice you'll have to make is picking up the Collector's Edition, which features its very own card game. Yes, that's right. When you're not playing on your Switch, Xbox, or PlayStation, you can grab 2 to 4 players and enjoy the experience in real life. So look out for Unicorn Overlord on March 8th, or right now, play the demo, and your save file will carry over to the game. Click the link down below for more information, and to get me to stop doing this voice.
Yeah, you know what time it is. It's time for the Geekenders podcast. MegaRan, Jesse and Dodger, what up? Let's go. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow and see what the Geekenders are all about. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt. Yo, another end of another long week. Got a job and a kid, I know that you all beat. So take a second, grab a drink and vibe while we catch you up in just a matter of time. On gaming, comics, whatever you're doing. If you're nerdy like us, then you know you should tune in. Thank you for sharing our world with us. Now follow, subscribe, and turn this up. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Oh, it still says that it's pre-show. That's a lie. We are professional. Bam. Done.
Good
Hello.
job.
Thank
Perfect
you.
work.
Thank you so much. Welcome to Geekenders, everybody.
Hello.
We're here with the lovely Jules Hardy, who I haven't talked to in forever. And I'm so excited.
It's been
I talk to you too much.
Too much?
Too much. I mean, not
Like
enough.
one
not enough,
WhatsApp
baby.
a month. It's like outrageous. Shut up. Stop texting me.
Yeah, I was telling Chat about how, and I think was talking with you about it as well, that like the last time that we chatted, I think was when we moved here, and you were like, leave the baby at home, come out, let's have some fun. And I was like, that sounds so nice. And then it didn't happen, and that's totally my fault. So I need to make up for
right.
that.
That sounds exactly like you, actually.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I like to think I'm self-aware.
Time consuming.
A little
so
bit.
It's okay. Don't worry.
Are we about to have a fun What's the Deal with Kids podcast? Because I'm here for it. Because truthfully,
I don't know. Okay. Right.
I'm living vicariously through Dodger, and I'm like,
Right.
I'm actually very good. Childless. I'm doing,
Oh,
I'm doing
yeah.
so good. The less children in my life, the better I seem to be doing.
Look, my goal with the way that I talk about being a parent is to be honest to the degree that people who are like, I don't know, maybe I'll have kids one day will go, actually, no, I'm good. Or they'll be like, that sounds fine. I could totally deal with that. Yeah, I still want kids. You know, why lie? Why lie about it?
Why would you? Like, honestly.
It's rough shit sometimes, dude.
I don't know. Like, my best mate got pregnant, like, super young. Like, when she was just, like, 18 and that. Ended up having, like, 3 kids, whatever. But, like, I feel like I went through, before any of my brothers had kids, I went through having kids, like, you know, with someone who's, like, your best mate.
Right,
Which is
yeah.
great. And obviously, like an amazing experience. But also by the time, like, don't get me wrong, I love all my nieces and nephews, but like when they first arrived, it wasn't quite as like because I was like, yeah, I've seen babies, I've looked after babies many times, but yeah. Although my best mate's oldest one has now just bought a house.
Oh my
and we
God.
were just like, and my best mate doesn't even own a house. She's just like, what? But yeah,
it's also I guess one of those moments where you're like, how old am I though? Wait a minute.
I think
I have that
super. Really
I have that all the time. One of my friends from high school, right after high school ended, went off, lived his life, did his thing, and by did his thing I mean became like the pimp of a fairground. I'm not even joking.
Sorry,
the man,
the pimp.
What does that mean? No. Stop. What does that mean?
Do you mean he's running sex workers? Because that's,
No,
I mean, maybe you call that
mean,
fairground, but I don't think anyone else does. And you should definitely not take your children there because I feel like that's confusing.
No.
Okay.
What ended up happening is I went off to college and I came back for my first summer to go hang out with my friends. And when I did, one of my friends was like, yeah, no, I'm working at the fair. I'm like, what do you do? Because in my mind, I'm like, he's going to be a full-on carny, like, step right up, get you. I show up. He's in a trailer playing at the time Witcher 1 in his trailer on a PC. And I'm like, what are you doing, dude? What is this? And he's like, oh, no, man, my job, I collect the money. And so twice a day, he walks around the fair, collects the money, and then goes back inside his trailer and does nothing else. I'm like,
that's a
you're
life.
like pimping out the rides, dude. And he's like, I'm a fairground pimp. So that's like all you need to know. And that's what he did. He collected the money and then he played Witcher 1 all day. I watched Witcher 1 through him. Wow. I fell in love with that franchise through that guy. But the whole point is he had a kid. He actually had twins. And this was, I don't know, maybe like
had to give up his pimping days or
no, he definitely didn't. He had them when they were on the road, which I was like, this man's living
all right.
a story.
Okay, yeah.
And so he had these two twins, and I'm not sure, again, I don't know if it's just a me thing or a guy thing. I don't know. I'm gonna put this out to the world. You can tell me I'm wrong. Dodge will verify. I don't really ask about anyone's kids or lives or anything. I assume you're just doing fine. And if you're not doing fine, you don't want to tell my ass. So I just don't ask.
Sure.
And my mom will be like, so how's Dodger and Clarky? And I'm like, I don't know. I assume fine. They're like, don't you look at their Twitter? Don't you? I was looking at Dodger's Twitter and she seems sad today. What's going on? I'm like, nobody told me. I have no clue. She's like, well, you should ask these things. I'm like, should I?
If it makes you feel better, my mom will do the exact same thing and be like, how's so-and-so? And I'm like, I mean, they haven't said they're bad, so I assume they're fine.
I just don't even remember any of my friends' names, even ones that lived with us for periods of time. Don't remember their names. Also, Jesse, do you not understand how friendships work? Like, you should have like a vague interest.
I'll ask about you. I message Dukes all the time. I will ask about people that I'm like with, but everyone else, like, you know, I don't know your kid. We aren't friends. That kid and I aren't like hanging out.
Effort to know.
Yeah,
right.
I haven't even made an effort. I don't want that. That's additional. I only have so much bandwidth. I can't like be friends with a kid too.
Your bandwidth is like a 56K modem. Like that's your bandwidth, right? Yeah, you're like dial up. That's how long it takes.
Yeah, I don't know that kid. So why am I going to spend time getting to like?
So wait, how many friends can you manage? Let's see. Is it like 4, 3? Like what's your amount?
Do you honestly want to know?
I do. So
on a hangout basis, hanging out with people.
Yeah.
In my life at present, I think it's like 3 people. And then beyond that, I have people that I'll hang out with, you know, once or twice a year and I'll make time because it's like I haven't seen them forever. But like daily, 2-3 people on the like I'm not like, come on everybody, let's go party. Like that's just not who I am. And I'll show up to your party and I'll be very nice and I'll be like, hey, hi.
I won't tell your baby I hate them to their face.
Yeah, I won't say that. I don't hate the baby.
I'll say
I
that
just
later.
don't know the baby. I don't know that baby. I can't hate something I don't know. That'd be insane of me.
That's fair.
I just don't know that baby.
People will occasionally come into my chat and be like, oh my gosh, Jesse's going to be in town. Is Clarky so excited to see Uncle Jesse? And I'm like, no. She doesn't
Doesn't even know who he is.
She doesn't know who the fuck
She doesn't know
Jesse
me
is.
at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
It's not that I hate Clark. I hope Clark turns out to be an amazing
Stop
mean
saying
girl.
that.
It's not that I don't hate
there was
her.
an option that you might have to hate
No,
a
I just
child.
want to make it. I just want
It's
to make
a
it clear.
possibility, and I just want to clearly state for the record
Yeah,
that
like,
I don't
it's
hate a
possible.
baby.
I
I could.
Yeah.
Why would you hate a baby? What can a baby possibly
First
do?
off,
Some
Clark is
people
not a
hate
baby. Clark
babies.
is a mean
100%.
girl. Clark is a mean girl in the making, and I cannot
This
wait.
is something. This is the sort of weird like rumor. Every
Don't know
single
them.
every single
do you know
podcast
that?
Jesse establishes that my kid is a mean girl despite not knowing her. And that's the sort of rumor that you would start about someone you hate, Jesse. So what's going on here? What's happening?
I'm playing. Look, I don't have a kid of my own, so I can't give that kid a hard time. So I've got to give your kid a hard time. Like,
Might as well
I'm
be
not gonna
mine.
do it to her. I'm not gonna do it to her face. That's rude as shit. I wouldn't do that. I don't want to hurt this kid, but on
Right.
the podcast, it's a
Stop
hilarious
saying
college
things
joke.
like
It's a
that,
good-
like it's an
it's a
option.
bit.
I don't want to hurt this kid, but
I don't want to hurt this kid and I don't hate them. However,
I just
I mean,
saw
it can
chat someone
happen.
say
The door
Jesse's
is
the
open
OG.
potentially for it to happen, but like
I just saw
it's
Jesse is
probably
the OG
fine.
mean girl, and I want you to know that's how I feel. She's not even welcome in the group. Anyway. But anyway, back to my speaking. The
You
whole
should
point of
just
this.
not
Anyway.
have children.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
is what we've
I,
ascertained.
But
and,
he
I,
knows
and I
that.
definitely won't. I'm not going. I don't have the bandwidth for it. I can't take care of a pet. How would I take care of a child? No,
Because you have to, and there's no other choice.
because I'm a responsible adult, and I would rather not. It's easy. It's you know what? It's easy to be responsible. Anyway, so, my friend who worked at the carnival,
Yeah.
he had these two kids. They now are full ass adults.
It's
that was
terrifying.
That was
Yeah.
like the year. That was like 2001. They're full ass adults.
Wow.
I couldn't tell you a damn thing about these kids. That's where I'm at. Like, I have known this man my entire life.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to talk about his kids. I don't want to ask him about his kids. We're fine.
But
It's
also,
fine.
like kids tend to do like quite samey kid stuff, and unless you actually spend like a really considered amount of time, usually with family members, do you ever get an idea of exactly what the kids like? Because even if you like talk to people's like parents, how they just talk about their kid, I don't think is necessarily always how that kid is. Like unless you
Sure.
actually spend like actual time with
100%.
them. Do you know what I mean? Like
I
oh,
realize
they're this
that-
and that and blah blah blah, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh no, when I've met them, I would not say that.
yeah, anything that I say about Clark, I have to be fully aware is coming from a biased place, right?
Yeah.
but also, yeah, I think there are just like a lot of variables involved. Like do I, I like to think that I have some awareness of whether or not the person I'm talking to wants to know anything about my kid, right? Have they asked about them? All of these sorts of things. But also, like, I just think some people feel more comfortable interacting with kids, engaging with kids, actually like being around children. And as the parent in the scenario, in order for me to maintain good relationships with my friends and not be annoying, I have to have an awareness of like, this is a friend who really loves kids, who's really interested in kids. And this is a friend who doesn't care, right? Like just does not really care and doesn't really have a relationship with my kids. So there's no reason to bring it up unless
Somebody
Hold on.
asks in that, yeah.
yeah.
Hold on. It's not about. Here's the thing. There is a certain age where I think it'd be really cool to have a kid for that age, right? Like
Right.
8 to 11, I feel like is the sweet spot of like suddenly into dinosaurs, into like hanging out, but not being a pain in the ass. Like there's like a weird space where it's like,
Yeah,
yo,
yeah.
you want to get ice cream? Let's like go to the beach and you can go chase some seagulls or something, right? And I'll be like, look at that kid go. There's like a space where I think it'd be amazing to have a
Don't
kid.
leave your child with him ever.
Right? It'd be like really
Side
cool.
Look at them go. They're in the ocean now.
Yeah, go
Want to
on.
go get her.
Get the seagulls, go on, you can do it. I want at least
Yeah.
6. Don't come
Right?
back without
Like-
them.
Suddenly they're into one sport really heavily, but
Yeah.
they don't know. They're like, baseball's my thing. And you're like, yeah, it is. I'm going to throw balls at you. Go get it. Right? There's a space. And then the
The age you're
switch flips
describing
and they
is
hate.
my kid's age right now, which is 5 years old.
All right, well, I'm missing out. That's unfortunate. Anyway, so and then a switch flips and they become a complete asshole for like 8 years. And then somewhere in their 20s, they get beat down by life and they calm the shit down. But like, there's a period where they're just unbearable. And having been that age, and I think everyone has, we all sucked. And so I think like I don't want to deal with that.
Sure.
And I don't want to deal with the pooping all over me. So like there's a sweet spot where I think it'd be really cool to have a kid. But after and before, I'm good.
I do like this amazing generalization of all of humanity. From the ages of 8 to 11, everyone's great, but then they can just fuck off. Just forget it.
The greatest
Everyone's
lie the devil ever told was little British kids being like, Mummy, can I please have a biscuit? Right? And then cut to 5 years later, it's like, Mummy, I need some cocaine, I do. Like, I'm telling you.
What?
British kids are the biggest lie. They're a lie. British kids, they seem like cute and innocent.
What media are you ingesting?
Yeah, they don't. If anything, they
media
make British children to terrify you.
The media
like, do you know what I mean? Like, children of the corn grade, like, oh, you'll be here forever and ever and ever. I once met the twins from The Shining at a wedding.
Did you?
Yes, at a wedding. And
are they
were
fun?
Just as terrifying as adults. I was like,
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sort of creepy shit that my kid does is like, one time I was doing laundry and my kid walked up, she was about 3, and said, Mommy, the fairies don't like when you do that. And then walked away. And I was like, I'm minding my business. What do you mean they don't like what I do? What? Come back. I need more information. So I pissed off the fae at our old house, apparently, and I don't even know what I did. So there you go.
I feel like I don't have to back up anything else I've said. I feel like I'm completely accurate. There's nothing else for me to say, really.
Like that up in a bow. We solved children.
Yeah.
Which that's pretty good. It was like been 15 minutes.
I know. We did that really fast. What else should we solve?
Maybe like a proper intro would be great.
Sure.
For a lovely guest.
Oh, I'm so sorry. A proper intro. Fantastic. Jules, what's up? How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
So good.
So good right now. Yeah, happy to be here. This is fun.
What have you been up to since the last time we talked?
BAFTA.
Ooh. A BAFTA
thing. I know
BAFTA
about
things.
that. I think that's it.
I do a show for the BBC in the UK called Game On Grandparents. That's like this esports show where they basically get like grandkids to train grandparents in different esports, and then they have to like compete on a stage. Amazing. It's delightfully wholesome and hilarious. And basically, we just got it recommissioned for series like 2 and 3. So at the start of January, that's literally all I was doing was like shooting these 2 series like back to back. So it's good because it's quite a nice. Normally in January, I'm like, God, no one's going to employ me. I hate this. Why did I pick this as a career? And then I calm down because work comes in. But normally with January's like, so it's quite nice to be busy. But yeah, it was a lot. But I'm excited for the new series to come out. But I'm not quite sure what the TX date is yet. So there's been that.
It sounds very wholesome.
It is. It's like, don't worry, Granddad. I'll love you even if you lose. But don't. Classic stuff. Like
Kids.
Yeah. Basically, it's quite tough though because it is quite a heightened situation, and obviously, playing video games on the stage, like I would crumble under that pressure, and like gaming's where I spend most of my time. So it can be quite brutal for the grandparents. Take it okay, but sometimes the kids, it's quite tough when they don't win. They can get a little bit upset, which is not fun to see.
Yeah.
But like the way that the BBC is, it's like and safeguarding kids it's really, really important. So there's like chaperones and different people there, and like it's quite nicely done in the sense everyone's like really sort of taken care of, and it does feel a bit like a big sort of like weird family, if that kind of makes sense. But
that's good.
It's cute. Yeah, so I have like a whole like shiny floor show stage. I love that shit. Yes. Give me a shiny floor studio any day of the week. It was the same when I did WitcherCon, and it was just after the end of was it the second lockdown or something? I can't remember, but I remember going there. And I came on set. And it was a very big production because we had like most of the cast and stuff like that there. But it was a huge studio. It was like massive, and there are jibs and swords and just like hundreds of people. And my favorite thing in the world is walking on a set like that when it's like your show and you're like, yeah, this is gonna be good.
This is mine.
This is mine.
Yeah,
all mine. No co-host. Fuck off. Yeah. So it's quite fun. I love that shit. I'm going to LA next week for a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. It's just normal kind of stuff. Like Gran Turismo will come back this year at some point. It'll be usual sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, hanging out and getting a little bit tipsy at BAFTA is pretty much standard. So for everyone.
We were talking about going to LA at some point. It would have to be in summer though, because child in school, etc.
Yeah. I'm still really sad about E3. I'm still really sad about it. I had so many great times
now.
Yeah, because it was such a great time. Honestly, like there needs to be something else. And like I know we've got like Gamescom and stuff, but it's so. Yes, it's in Europe, but it's that little bit kind of further away. You want it to be in sort of like a slightly more major hub a little bit. I don't know, like there was something great about being in LA and everyone's kind of there for the week and you can literally meet everybody from games and get to know people. And it felt like, yes, we are all part of this like one community. The only other thing I suppose is like the Game Awards when everyone like shifts over to that hotel across the road and it's like,
God, I never ever went to the Game Awards though. I feel like Game Awards is kind of hit or miss if people are going to go to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think. Sorry, no, go on. Go.
No, it was cool this past year. The hotel, like you were saying, packed. It was crazy. It was wild. But also, I'd rather hang out with the people than actually go to the award show.
Yeah.
My God, do I not like award shows? That was a lot of like, especially
it's
ones that
long.
It's long, but also everything is staged, and I never really truly understood how staged stuff was. Yeah. Whereas like people are moving. Right. Like in the audience constantly. Yeah. In between when people come out to present awards, they're all moving. And it's like a crazy thing to experience. There's a shot where Todd Howard's in front of me and the camera's on us, but Todd Howard wasn't sitting there at all the entire time. They just moved him because it was a better angle to get Todd Howard. I'm like,
right.
So it's all a performance. This entire thing is a show.
Of course it is. That would be every award ceremony though. That'd be the same.
Oh, I know,
for, like,
and that's why I'm like,
for the everything. You need to make it look packed. Or like if people go up, they need to have like people like no seats can be empty and all that kind of stuff. But yeah.
I went on so long, people stopped doing that. There was a moment like in the first hour and a half, people are scurrying, moving. If the seat is empty, someone's filling it. Eventually.
Like everyone just
they stopped doing that. I was like, dude, I gotta go to I was like, Ben, I gotta go to the bathroom, dude. So I like get up, leave, I come back, my seat is still empty. And I'm like, they didn't fill my seat. And then I noticed 2 seats in front of us empty. And I'm like, we stopped caring at some point here. We've given up. We're all right.
Yeah, cool. I think like by the time, but it's also it's a long show. I think so. Like by that point, it's probably like. I will say though, watching Sam Lake do the Alan Wake performance was spectacular.
More of that, please.
Oh my God. So I saw him afterwards, and I've known Sam a really, really long time. We often like chat about various different whatever, but I saw him at like one of the parties afterwards, and I was like, congratulations on winning. And I was like, but I have to say, like the performance, I was like, I don't think you realise what you've done. And he's like, what do you mean? And I said, if you asked anyone in that audience, would they get up on stage at the Game Awards and do a fucking dance number in front of all of their peers? 99.9999% of people would be like, absolutely not.
No way.
That sounds like a horrifically terrifying idea, and I would cry. And he just sort of like did it, and I was like, I don't think you realise what you've done. That is like that is like literally just whipping your balls out of being like, but he's so like not aware. He doesn't have that same kind of like ego about it. It's not like, wow, yeah, I did it. It was like, oh, and then he was telling me that, oh yeah, he was like, I wasn't even worried about any of the awards because I was so nervous about doing the dance routine. Like, I couldn't think about anything else. It was so sweet though. He was saying that a lot of it's, the movements that they have, it's all because it's based around performance capture, like the tease dance and stuff like that, which is why it sort of looks the way it does. I thought it was quite interesting. But
there's the whole idea of that dance sold so many people on that game.
Yeah.
That it's hilarious that people. We had our dear friend Ross on, and he was like, "Yeah, I bought the game, and I was like scared. And I thought it was gonna be a musical." And I was like,
That's
Wow.
right. I forgot about that.
That's funny. I mean, it's just if you look at it, you're like, I think okay. So like BAFTA Games Awards is coming up in April, right? It's the 20th year of the BAFTA Games Awards, which is kind of wild. You think it wouldn't be going on that long, but it has been. And obviously, I think, like, I think it's going to be definitely like a toss-up between like Baldur's Gate 3 and Alan Wake 2. There is something I will say, like when you've sat in like BAFTA juries and stuff like that, and the logic behind why people make the decisions that they do. I think also when it's you've got something like Remedy where you can see the journey from this game to this game to this game, and then it comes together in this one. There's something about that like juries love. Because it's like, look, it's like a finessing of a craft to perfection. Like you can see all the stages that it's gone through to get to this point. And you can definitely see that through line with Remedy more than probably any other company. I think it's really clear. And also, it's just bonkers. It's just a bonkers game. Like it's such a weird smush of different things together, but just in this
you
way.
mean it's perfect? You mean it's a perfect game and one of the most beautiful forms of art I've ever seen in my life?
It's so good.
The fact. There's a moment in that game where you can just stop what you're doing and watch a full-length, weird-ass Finnish, like art house movie that's so bonkers. It's one of the craziest things. It's a wild game, but what's great about Remedy as a company and about like game creators is they're actively trying to like create art rather than like. This game has all the features, the people,
Him and Sam Barlow, like, Jesus Christ. I want them to do, like, when they do, like, the variety, like, around the actors' tables. I want a Sam on Sam fireside chat, getting those two guys together to talk about it. Because they really are doing it and pushing things in interesting and unique ways. And I think, you do get to that point where, there are so many good games. There's good games. They're all made well and they're, like, fine. And it does get to that point where you're like, I've only got so much time. Like, honestly, I don't want to be playing like a 3 out of 5 game. Like, I either want it's got to be really different, really unique, or it's just got to be an absolute smash. I just do not have time to play kind of stuff in between. I will happily play weird little indie things, but that's because they're weird and different and unique, and I like the experience of playing something
a weird indie.
Odd. Yeah, it's like brilliant. But yeah, anything in between that, I'm just like, I just can't really be bothered. But maybe like I feel a bit gluttonous because you sort of like have access to a lot of these things and Yeah.
The biggest thing I think is that they also, as a studio, and not a lot of studios do this, but Remedy I think is fortunate, probably because they got some wheeling dealing in the background, but they'll proudly be like, Alan Wake 2 sold 1.3 million copies, and we're really pleased with that. That's really cool. And there are other companies that are like, we only sold 5 million, we're scrapping the entire studio. And it's like, what the shit? Like, that's because you spent 500 million to make the game, you idiots.
Yeah, and it's really stupid.
And it's so pleasing to see the Remedy team just be like, we're very happy. We're very happy with this. And I'm like,
but they know that they've made a great game. Like, regardless of even if it like didn't sell, you're like, they couldn't have made it any better. Normally when you play a game and you're like, oh, this thing's a bit annoying, or like this mechanic's a bit irritating, or like this fucking menu thing can just do on. But like, like all the way through that, I was like, no, I'm fully here. It's terrifying. I have to have someone with me when I play it because otherwise I'm too loud and my neighbors come around.
I love it.
I'm like, I've literally been shrieking for an hour. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I also do worry that what they wonder is happening in my flat because I do scream a lot when I play games.
I used to wonder
really
that
loudly
all the time. Yeah.
But no one really is that interested. You could be dying. They're like, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I think honestly now everyone
you make your choices.
People are playing a video game. If you got murdered, people be like, playing a video game. Like that's I think what people think most of the time now. Cause I'll hear noises in my apartment and I will immediately recognize, like if I listen hard enough, like I'll hear there's a dude who lives below me who screams so much, but if you listen close enough, he's literally just playing either a Call of Duty or some type of shooter.
Stupid bitch, shoot properly. Like,
and I'm like,
probably a lot of that. Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
There was that really great scene. Did you ever watch Spaced with Simon Pegg?
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, there was a bit where like, the woman upstairs was like, oh, he was arguing with you. What was that? He was saying, you big-titted bitch, why don't you just die? And he was like, oh no, he was playing Tomb Raider.
Oh my god,
Spaced was literally like
That was
when that came
so
out.
long
that was
ago.
literally that was literally our student life. That was it. Playing PlayStation, getting drunk. It's brilliant. Good
Or
times.
like, yeah, when you guys were talking about Guitar Hero,
The
it was
golden era.
it was reminding me of when I first went to college. That was like, or university. That was like what everybody would be like. Come to my dorm. We're playing Guitar Hero, and I'm sure that was so obnoxious to everybody else that was nearby because it would just be 5 to 10 people in a room, all like blasting music, drinking, and screaming over a game.
But it was so good. But think about like, has there been any other era where gaming was like you would bring people to your house, like it basically made your social life infinitely better because you were like, okay, we've been at the pub or whatever, come back to mine. Oh, we'll play some Guitar Hero. And like you would constantly have people around your house way more than you ever would.
I think
like it was cool.
We had a bunch of friends that would do like Halo LAN parties, but that's not necessarily like accessible to everybody. I feel like Guitar Hero was so accessible,
Yeah.
So
plus Guitar Hero facilitated fun.
Yes.
And like a Halo, or I was thinking about Among Us and how everyone was playing that online. Like those are games where the game is the communal experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Rock Band was like, we're all coming together and the song is just us playing it, but we're having fun in the room. And you're right, it's a different vibe, but it also exposed people to songs they never heard before. A whole generation learned about 70s rock. There's like all different, there's so much stuff that happened there that I don't think happens with a lot of games. I mean,
you've got Just Dance, but I think like people are way less inclined to
they don't want to dance in front of their friends because it's embarrassing. But for some reason, banging on drums and playing a guitar poorly was fine. I don't understand.
Lips for Xbox. I used to take that downstairs. My dad had like a bunker cinema. I don't know. Lots of his family members died and left him money. He didn't know what to do with it, so he built this weird underground cinema. Anyway, but we take all the Xbox downstairs, and we had like a cinema screen, and because it was underground, you were literally going to like 4 or 5 a.m. like the next day, like no one could hear it because it's like underground. But we would just do endless karaoke,
That's so fun.
Like literally endless. My God, so funny. That was good times. Those party games were great.
Yeah,
they were really good. Actually, I'll tell you what I've done with my flat now for like having people play games, because like before I used to have in my old place I would have like 2 TVs next to each other. So like if someone came around who was also a gamer and you just want to sit and hang out and play games, we'd sit next to each other like on the TV. But then like you don't want 2 TVs like in my lounge. It seems like really excessive. So what I've got here is like behind this bit here on this wall is my television, where if it's just me, I sit and I play my games. And then on that same side, I have like a little wheelie trolley that has like a projector on it.
Oh, cute.
And so I move it next to it, and the wall is white on the other side, and then the sofa's there. So like when I have my friend like Jane over, so like she'll be sitting facing that way, facing the projected wall, and I'm sitting this way. So it's like a love seat. So I can just talk to her because she's there, but she's playing Alan Wake on that screen, and I'm playing it on this one. It's really good.
That sounds really cute. Yeah.
Yeah. Then it's like you've only still got one screen. It's not like I can't have 2 TVs. It just makes you look. It's bad enough having the drum kit in here. It already looks a bit like 40-year-old virgin.
That sounds nice though.
Yeah, it's really cute. I don't know. Yeah, there's something I do love playing games, but like so much of the stuff I like to play is single player, and then I realized that I haven't talked to anyone. Like
and it can be really antisocial. It's
just like if someone else is in the room, it's like that's fine because there's somebody there, like breathing your air. Like it's okay. You're not a total hermit. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why games like Lethal Company and like Helldivers now and stuff. Like I think a lot of people are craving games that are kind of like, like a small in and out like group experience.
I haven't played any Helldivers yet. Is it really good? I know everyone's
I finally played it. It's really fun. Sam said that it's a game that's perfectly tailored to him, so I knew it wasn't going to be perfectly tailored to me because we like very different games. But it is really fun if you're with like a group of friends and stuff. It literally is just like you queue up for a mission. It'll say, this one could take 15 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever. You go in, you kill a bunch of bugs or robots, and then you get the fuck out, and then you buy cute outfits and you dress up your Helldiver, and then you go back in. It's fun. Yeah, it's fun.
Oh, so this is why everyone's been talking about Starship Troopers lately then
yes,
on my feed.
It's literally Starship Troopers, but a game.
Didn't understand what propaganda was watching that. It's like literally the whole thing is teaching you how you're like manipulated by propaganda, and they're like, yeah, kill the bugs, and you're like,
Speaking of,
yesterday,
actually 2 days ago, went and saw Dune 2.
Okay.
All right.
so good.
First off, so good. Second off, I can't wait for the internet discourse from people who don't understand the message of the movie. I'm very excited.
No.
I am really excited to watch people be like, don't you understand? And I'm gonna be like, go on, please explain to me what that movie was actually about. Very excited. People so misunderstood the point of Dune that the man had to write a second follow-up book to explain the point of Dune. And he was like, I'm going to call this one Messiah so you guys get what this thing is about. I'm really excited for people to be like, I don't understand. I'm here for the popcorn bucket. Anyway, sorry. I don't want to spoil anything. It's hard to talk about.
No, it's fine. I have never really sat down and watched a Dune. I've never read a Dune. I know there's a lot of sand.
Yeah.
And I know
Here's what you need
Zendaya's
to
in
know.
it, and that's it.
Here's what you need to know. The movie is great. The book is insane.
Okay.
In fact, all the books are insane, and they only get more insane over time.
Okay.
Like, off the walls, not even in a good way insane.
Okay.
But the movies, Dune Part 1 and 2, are phenomenal. They look
good.
beautiful. They're
question.
well acted. Yeah.
If you want to see Sting in a loincloth, though, you could go the.
You watch the old one.
you
That's
watch the old
totally
one.
fine.
David
Okay.
Lynch route. He
Cool,
just
cool,
swans
cool.
around with like no, not a loincloth. They're like iron pants or something. They're very odd, and I just don't really understand why he was in them. I mean, better than I don't know.
Is Dune 1 are Dune 1 and 2, is it the same book? Parts
Yes,
of
same
the same
book
book
and-
situation? Okay.
Same book, and the movies are literally like back to back in the timeline.
Okay.
Like they are,
No
it isn't
time
like
skip.
18 months past. It's literally like there is, yeah, it's,
That's
they
straight.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good though. Like
Yeah, I just
it's
don't-
really good how they've made it like sort of like because it's complicated, and like I remember the first time reading Dune. I think it's everyone's first experience of like reading Dune, where you're like, you can't read this. What are all these names? Like it's all like this weird names for like everything, and then Duncan Idaho for some inexplicable reason. There's just someone called Duncan Idaho.
Duncan, Idaho. That's right.
Like, yeah, you're like, why has everyone else got? Okay, fine. But you know, like sometimes when you read a book and there's like a really unfamiliar name, but generally speaking, most names and things you've heard before, and you like sometimes I'll be like, okay, that's the name that I don't know, and I don't even like read it properly. I just like that's the name that I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, with Dune you can't do that because after like 4 pages, I'm like, who is everybody?
Right.
I'm
It's
not
the
paying
same way-
attention.
It's the same way when you play a Final Fantasy game, and unless someone says a character's name, you have no idea how to pronounce it. And you're like,
Yeah.
I hope a voice actor says the name soon, because I don't know what the hell this guy's name is. It's same thing with Dune, except the movies, thankfully, give characters that have no agency actual. Like, a great example is, look,
Yes.
in Dune, the women have no role except to be like, wow, what a handsome and powerful dude.
Oh no.
Like,
Okay.
in the books, they are just like, you want to bang all those other women? That's fine with me. I love you anyway. Like, that's the vibe.
Okay.
In the movie, Zendaya at least has agency, and you're like, okay, they're like, but of course, the minute I got out of the movie, I was like, I wonder what's the vibe on the internet? Of course, like 50 videos
It's
that
not
are
true
like,
to the book.
dude, oh yeah, oh, they got woke. I was like, you thought that was a woke movie, bro? Again, I can't wait to see like
Amazing.
the internet. I'm a big fan of when people just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but
Right.
like what was it? The most hated like TV villain was Skylar from fucking Breaking Bad, and you're like, she's not even a villain. You still
Dude.
hated her because you didn't understand who
'Cause I
Heisenberg
really-
was. Like,
I
what do
like, you know what, Heisenberg, he had a good points about society, and I
No,
just
he
feel
literally-
like
you missed the entire point of the. Oh my god, that's what's utterly
he was the
terrible.
good
Dude.
guy, wasn't he?
It's the same thing with Homelander. You're like, dudes.
Then
Like, this is not. How did you not know he was evil? Like,
yeah,
come
the
now.
number of bits of media where people like really love this main dude, where the whole BoJack Horseman is another great one, where it's like the whole story is about how fucked up this guy is. And if you walk away being like, God, you know who I love? BoJack. What?
There is, and the whole, like, going back to Breaking Bad, there's so many, like, having rewatched the entire series, I think people forget because it took X number of years. Watching the whole series, that man had so many points and chances for redemption.
Yes.
And he was like, no. And I guess people wanted to root for him because he was like, F the world, man. And some people feel that way.
He was like the cool old man in the drug game, you know? He was a scientist. He was hardcore.
Yeah, but he literally had all these hands reaching out to him, and he was like, I'm Heisenberg, bitch. And it's like, yeah, he got what he deserved. Like, that's the whole point of the story. The whole point is like Jesse literally crying his eyes out, breaking free of his, like,
Yeah.
I think people miss the point. And that's the same thing with a lot of things. Even saw in chat, Scott Pilgrim's another great example. Like, there's so many examples of, like, the character's he isn't a great guy. No. That's the point. I don't know. It's tough. Media literacy, all-time low, I feel. Just an all-time low.
Yeah, I'd hard agree on that. Yeah.
Oof. Yeah. Oh, hey,
Yes.
I wanted to bring this up.
Yes.
I'm saving this.
Yes, homie.
Oh, okay.
So the last time our dear sweet Jules was in town,
Yes.
we went out and just got tacos and some beer and like chatted and had fun.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, the next day I woke up and I had somehow the night before pinched a nerve in my back. And it hurt so badly that for days I couldn't move. I was in so much pain. There was a point where I had to get up. Great question. I don't know what we did, but I like literally went to to go to the bathroom, which is 10 feet away from my bedroom. It hurt so bad to roll out of bed, get to the bathroom, that while I was on the toilet, I had the actual thought, I'd rather just be dead. Like, that's where I was. It hurt so bad. And so, thankfully, it went away and life is fine. But every time I tell that story and people ask, like, what happened to you? I want to let you know I say that you blew my back out every time.
Of course.
I was like, I don't know what we were doing, but blew my back out.
You know, I was trying to figure out
let you know that.
What to write for the topic and realized it was very hard to sum it up without it sounding insanely sexual. So that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
You were fine when you left, okay? So I don't know what happened after.
We were totally fine. Again, I don't know what the problem. Like, there was no moment where anything could have happened, but literally
in your sleep, you must have like just slept.
I guess
weird. Like that's the only thing, because you would know otherwise, surely, when it happened.
That's what I'm saying. Like, everything was fine. I got home, went to bed, woke up the next day, and was like, what the shit? Oh, what's happening? And I got no answers.
And here's me skidding across the floor on my knees drunkenly and having no ill effect whatsoever.
You are truly a peak dance specimen. I cannot stress this enough. Watching
that was very funny.
You dance with old men was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. And it wasn't like, oh, I'm dancing and old men are coming up to me. It was old men in an underground tube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
it was and
they're sitting there drinking. And someone, no names, goes up to them and grabs their hands and like seduces them onto the dance floor. And these old men are like, okay. And they get out there and they're doing like the shuffle, like, and you're doing like some dance with them. And the music playing in the background is something I've never heard before. And it's just like, you're like, ooh, yeah. And the old men are like, and you pulled every old man on the dance floor. It was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. And I'm so happy I was there to witness it. It was great. It was great.
It sounds amazing.
So the place is called, it's on Wardour Street in Soho. It's called St. Moritz, and it's like this sort of like Alpine-themed underground bar. It's been there
Sounds
forever.
amazing.
It's always the place you can go to that's not, it's like the least Soho-y of all the places you can go to. Like Soho can be a little bit bougie and annoying. It's a total dive. The
I
drinks
love
are
that.
fairly cheap. Everyone there is absolutely smashed. So like you can do things like that and like no one gives a shit. Like
Right.
And that's why I kind of like it. Like it's really great. Yeah, it's a total dive, but very fun. If you're ever in London, go and check it out. It's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. But yeah, I did ruin my jeans. Skidding across the floor.
Skidding.
Yeah, I did the like knee slide.
Ruin or
thing.
enhance? You enhanced your jeans doing the
Yes.
skid.
I mean, there's definite plus 10 onto them now, but it does look like I've skid across the floor if I wear them. But yeah, that was funny. I also like,
fair.
when you do something like that, it could really not go well because like you don't really know what like the floor is going to be like, whether it's an acceptable skidding floor or it's just going to tear off your kneecaps.
Right.
Which I suppose when you're drunk, you don't really think that far ahead. You just commit.
How often are you skidding across floor? Is that like are you power sliding everywhere?
No, not really. Not particularly. I don't know.
Is that
why.
how you get
I
around
felt it in
London?
that moment.
You run and power
it's
slide
the
through the
choice
streets?
move, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Excuse me. Oh, hi. I should do it more.
Yeah, you should. Especially when it
Apparently,
rains.
you're fantastic at it since it's been brought up. You know.
That was a funny night out. That was a very drunk night out, though.
Yeah. I honestly think that was the same night that Dukes and I went and got that
Was it?
high place.
That was
Yeah,
a really
I
good
think
day for you, then, dude.
It was a great day. I had a good day. So I need to make when I go to London, I literally am just like, I'm in town. What we doing? And yeah, I try to make crazy time for everyone because
Yeah.
otherwise I'd just be alone in London and be like, hey, everybody, American.
Well, last time you were here, it was with Fastiani and Davis, I think. And I tried to make it out to you, but the trains were shut down.
The trains broke. Yeah.
Yeah, train strike.
What can you do?
What can you do?
We do love a train strike.
You
here.
guys love a train strike. They happen so often.
But like nothing ever gets done. I'll tell you who's really good at like rioting and protesting are the French. My God.
They love
do
it
all the time.
Yeah.
And things actually happen. My favorite weird story was they were once doing this supermarket was once doing this like special offer on like a kilogram jar of Nutella.
Okay.
And like all these
Yeah.
French people like went to the supermarket and were like, hey, I want this. Basically what happened was they ran out and then it turned into a riot because they were denied
Over
their 1 kilogram.
Nutella?
Yep. A kilogram though.
what
I
on
could not be
earth?
trusted with that in the house. Can you imagine?
That's
You turn
much
up 2
Nutella.
months later and I'd just be like a golem covered with like Nutella around my mouth.
God, it reminds me of, what was that Rick and Morty sauce? What was the Rick and Morty sauce?
The sauce from McDonald's
Yeah.
that didn't exist.
Yeah.
The Szechuan
There was
sauce.
the Mulan Szechuan sauce. Yeah.
And then they remade it. Didn't they remake it?
They
or something
did
because of Rick and
for
Morty.
a hot minute. Yeah.
And then people got weird, and there's always videos of people
were
acting
already
real
weird,
foolish.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Too much. Not cool. And now they have a new sauce at McDonald's that's anime inspired, which is a whole other thing. I see the
What is
commercials all
it?
the time.
What
I
is
don't
it?
know. Apparently, there's an anime that has a
New
McDonald's with a W,
McDonald's sauce anime.
and now all McDonald's commercials are anime. At
McDonald's
least in LA.
anime sauce. McDonald's.
I'm telling you.
Stuff.
I ate
That's what
the
I'm telling you, it's
McDonald's
the
anime
McDonald's.
sauce.
It's an anime sauce. I'm not even joking. And then
I believe
all
you. I'm just
the-
trying to figure out what it even is.
All the commercials are like, is there a new sauce at McDonald's? That's right. There's a brand new sauce. It's like, what the hell is happening?
Savory chili McDonald's sauce is what it's called.
I don't even know what a McDonald's is, but hopefully the meat is a better quality. You know what I'm saying?
Oh. God, I remember like growing up and being like obsessed with Big Macs, being like, oh my God, this is like the greatest thing that's ever existed. And like to get a Big Mac was like wonderful. And then I think I had one like 2 years ago and I was like, what is this dog shit? Like it tastes fucking awful. Like it's like the worst burger I've ever had. I don't know.
Twice
It's
as
just like,
expensive, twice as
yeah.
good.
I think just like maybe there just wasn't that good, like that good of kind of burgers back then. Like it was just like you had McDonald's or you had like the kebab place would do a burger as well, and that's kind of like it. No one made like I live in East London, everything's artisanal,
right.
but like ludicrous burgers and stuff like that with actual meat in it. I don't know.
Yeah, where we're living now, it's really hard to get a burger that isn't like a kebab place burger, for sure.
Ah, right.
But are those good? Like, so here in LA.
Yeah, but you're usually drunk, so you don't care.
Yeah. If you're sober, no, they're not good. No.
Like in LA, you could go to a fast food place and get a burger, but they're always trash. So the cheap, good burger is always the Mexican place. The Mexican place always has the best burgers. And it's like, well, surely the kebab place would have a good burger, but I guess not. I guess it's like.
I've never had a good kebab burger now.
Really?
No. It's also like when you go to a place where they sell everything, you're a bit suspicious because you're like, okay, you do kebabs, you do chicken nuggets, you do burgers, you do and you're like, pick a thing.
Yeah.
And it's always a bit,
Like,
rubbish.
I can understand if you go to a place that is like a chippy, that they could have other fried foods. Like, all right, yeah, we have fried chicken as well. Because, like, okay, you're just throwing in the fryer. Like, I get that. But, yeah, I guess at a certain point, if they're serving pasta and at the same time, like, kebab, but also, like, they're fish, but also they got burgers, I'd be like, hold up. How do you make all that back there fresh?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's not
you
how
don't. Yeah.
No, I've seen Gordon, Kitchen Nightmares. What is it? Okay, this is what I don't understand about Americans in that show, right? Everyone's like, they get a bit of money and then they're like, hey, I'm going to open a restaurant. And then they're like, have you ever cooked? And they're like, no, we just thought we'd open a restaurant.
Because.
And you're like, why? I don't understand that.
People are stupid.
Just because you eat food doesn't mean you should make it.
Yeah. It's like the
there's-
glamorized idea of a restaurant.
Yeah, people think if they serve food and open a restaurant that they'll, as their own boss, they'll make a bunch of money. But it's not about making money at first. It's about serving a good quality product so that then you can make the money later. But people are like, but I invested my money now. And it's like, well, I don't know what to tell you. You have no rep and you're serving trash. And so when people come here, they're not going to come back. So I don't think people understand. But
it's a really hard business to do as well. It's like one of the hardest ones, and you're kind of like, why would you've got no training in business or restaurants or know anything about food, like
even chefs who were like, yeah, I'm gonna open a restaurant, and then they open the restaurant and they have to worry about costs now, and they have to like before they just cooked and made stuff and it was on someone else's time.
They have to be worried about. Yeah,
there's so many layers, and I don't think people understand that restaurant is so hard to run. That
okay, if you were to run like a shop or a restaurant or something, what would it do?
I'd run a bakery specializing in delicious like bagels and breads.
Bagels and breads.
I like
and maybe
that.
like a few sweet treats, but keep it simple. Like, we are not going crazy. We're doing certain things and we're staying in that lane. We're not going to suddenly start making sandwiches at lunch. We're going to like, this is our thing. This is what we make. And when we sell out for the day, we sell it and we close the door. That's what I want. You got to keep it simple. People get too caught up in it. Or I'd make a food truck where all we served was beignets.
Ooh,
wait,
that's
what's
fun.
that? What's that? What's beignets?
Oh, a delicious treat from the people of New Orleans. Imagine a light, fluffy donut like little square boy with powdered sugar on it. Ooh,
it's a donut.
Lord. It's so much better.
But is it a donut?
No, I don't think it counts as a donut.
I can look it
I
up.
don't know. What are the rules? Is this like one of those is a hot dog a sandwich
beignet,
situations?
A donut.
Is it like stodgy like a donut?
It's like in chat, like a French
style
American
fried
donut.
square donut. It says.
There you go. All right, yeah. It's basically it's New Orleans, so it's like a Creole French kind of vibe of. I'm sure you could get something similar if you actually just went to France, surely. But whatever the case may be, it's just a delicious little square of goodness that has powdered sugar on it. And if that's all you make, you could sell out of those. Like, I'm just saying, I would keep it simple. There's no reason to go crazy and try to overthink it. And like, yeah, we serve like 50 different types of food. That's how you fail. You gotta, your sandwich place, just serve like 6 sandwiches and make them the best 6 sandwiches.
Just make a bunch of like TikToks and stuff and then let it go viral and then golden.
I have a coffee company already. So if I was going to open like a brick and mortar thing, it would be the coffee And then I would do that very LA thing where it would be like, we serve coffee, but also you can play board games here. And that's what I would do, and just open a board game cafe, I think, because that's fun.
There's a place in the north of London that is like named after a tube stop. I don't remember which one it is, but it's a board game place. It's a pub that's all board games, and you like go underground, and there's like you can just sit there and drink and play board games. I'm here with you on that. I love that vibe. Very cool. The thing that's funny to me about like artisanal coffee shops is there's always one guy who's trying to upsell you on like, this coffee, we have one bag and it came from a small man who smuggled it across the border. This coffee is made from like the tears of apes in the mountains of, and you're like, what the hell? Yes, I want to try that.
Of course I'll try that.
Man, you drink it and you're like, I think that was good. I think that
it might have been better. I'm not sure. Maybe my palate isn't refined enough. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's like an $18 cup of coffee. You're like, I think that was good.
Yeah. An animal pooped it out, so it's got to be better, right?
Then, yeah.
But there's one that like tastes like apples, which was interesting.
Oh.
There's like fancy coffees, and it's cool. It's better, but you realize the fancy coffee place is always just going to be better than like anywhere else you go, except at 2 a.m. at the diner. 2 a.m. diner coffee?
2 a.m. diner coffee is superior to all other coffee.
It really is.
The burnt ass drip coffee I will take over anything else. If it's like 1, 2, 3 a.m. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh man. That's the most American thing I think
it
you can do
is
having like diner coffee in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
We don't really have something like 24-hour places to eat. Not really so much.
No.
Not even in London.
Not
really.
With that sort of vibe, really. No. I really miss
you're
that.
A well-adjusted society who's existed for long enough that you've gotten over these things. We, unfortunately, need to have like, dude, I need a full-ass breakfast at 3 a.m., okay? And it's like, why?
It's comforting. Because I don't need to explain myself.
Yeah.
I want a whole plate of hash browns, okay? Don't ask why.
I would like one moons over my hammy. Thank you very much. That was my favorite Denny's sandwich. Moons over my hammy. That's all.
Sorry, what?
It was like a ham, egg, cheese sandwich, just with a clever name. And I would get it at Denny's at every time we like finished a play. We'd all it'd be like midnight. We all roll into Denny's, and I'm gonna let you know. I don't know what it is, but I have like old lady magic. Every Denny's old lady would like sit down next to me, start rubbing on me, and I'd be like, yeah, hey girl, what's up? How you doing? I think I got a thing with old ladies, and I think to this day it still stands, and I'm gonna let you know. Hey girl, how you doing?
My one is men who are unhappy in their marriages. Like a moth to a flame, they come to me in droves.
Not a good demographic.
I can see them out the corner of my eye in any room. I'd be like, that guy's unhappy with his marriage. You can just smell it a mile off. Not cute. Not
cute.
Interested.
Not cute.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Not cute. Not interested. Thanks.
However, old ladies, the older the better. I'm here to break hips. Let's go.
Oh my goodness.
They don't recover from that, you know. That's usually the start of like their decline.
Yeah,
They go
that
to
would be the end for them.
You
You're not that good, dude.
I'm helping them. I'm helping them move along. I'm helping the circle of life.
You're like a weird Grim Reaper that's just
I'm
coming
like,
to Denny's.
Serial killer is like a helpful at like.
I'm the
like
Grim Reaper of Dick. What can I say? Like I know what I am, and I'm gonna guide these old women I'm gonna let them. I'm like, it's time. Like, goodbye. Like I'm here to help.
I feel like you've gone down a corridor. You probably should have let the door be closed.
The hole is deeper.
Why would you come down into this corridor? There's no way out. It's a dead end.
Part is,
like an H.H. Holmes murder house. You're going to fall through a trapdoor yourself.
I kept trying to push it to get a reaction from you.
No.
But Dodger was the only one reacting. I was like, I'm going to keep pushing. And you just sat there stone-faced. And I was like...
I didn't need to say anything because you were just slowly tightening the noose around your own neck. The more words came out of your mouth. I was like, I don't even need to say anything.
I was trying so hard to get you to react, and you just...
Jules is from England.
I
the
wasn't
stone
surprised.
face has been practiced.
I wasn't shocked, put it that way, which says a lot, I think. I was like, yeah.
That's because my legend
Accurate.
precedes me. Yeah, you were like, I know this story. I've heard this.
I wouldn't say legend. Well,
Jules, if you were going to open a restaurant, what would it be? It's not fair for only us to do it.
I don't know. I would like to do like fresh, like bread, like really good fresh bread. But I think the problem would be that I would eat all of the bread. Like, you know, don't do drugs and be a drug dealer. I think you'd go down a yeasty path that you could not come back from after I've eaten like my third French stick for the day. And I have scurvy because I don't eat any other nutrients other than bread. So I don't know.
That's
why you gotta come to my shop.
Additions in there.
Yeah, you come to my shop. I'll have like raisin bagels, and I'll have like an apple bagel. You can come and I'll just have different. And it'd be like, oh, is there fruit in here? I'll be like, that's how I sneak it in. That's how you.
Like sneak in the 1.5 a day.
I'll give you one bagel, put marmalade on there, like an orange. That's your oranges. You're not gonna get scurvy. Enjoy. You're welcome.
The thing is, though, everything that I would want to do are things that I like, and I've worked in like shops before, and you just end up eating or buying the things in the shop that you work in. So I feel like everything that I'd want to do, like, you know, like patisseries or like desserts or like all of these kind of things. We once did for Gran Turismo. We were once doing it in Paris, right? And it was in this amazing location, like, you know, right in the center of Paris. And every every table, every surface in the whole of this arena or this beautiful location that we were at had like the most incredible patisserie desserts you've ever seen, like these tiny little ones. And they looked beautiful. And every single one was like, this is the best thing I've ever tasted. And every 3 hours, they would be taken away and replaced by entirely new ones. And you never saw them again. So you're like, if you're going to eat it, you have to eat it now.
Right.
And they put like this whole tray in like my dressing room. And especially with like esports stuff, there tends to be a lot of sitting around in between when stuff actually happens. And there was this whole tray in my room. And I said to the guy, I was like, dude, you have to take this out of here. I can't be left alone in a room for like 3 days.
Dude.
Like it was like a whole tray. I was like, thank you. I really appreciate it. But this cannot be in here because I'm going to eat them all. And then he took them away and then brought back with like half with a bit of fruit on it. I was like, this is still not helpful. That weekend, every single person put on like a stone weight or something. Because we just have a little one. They're only small, but you do it over 3 days.
But if you eat a million of them, yeah.
But they were all incredible. And then I found out afterwards, because like I asked one of the guys from Polyphony, I was like, that Paris, like, why did that happen? Like, it was really weird. Like, why were we having so many patisserie cakes like all the time? It seemed like a really odd thing to do. And he basically said that this place is so sort of like renowned and known in Paris. And basically, if you rent it, you can't just bring any old food in because the place is so of a standard. It has to be like here or below. Do you know, or like from here and above, rather?
They would have rioted.
Yeah, basically. So
as established, they love a riot.
That was the minimum package that they would do, and he was like, "You have no idea how much." It was so expensive, and I was like, "Yeah, it was just unhinged." That was thousands and thousands of cakes,
right?
Over like these little artworks, you know, with like a tiny bit of gold and like a thing, and you know, like it's like handmade, like, and you're like, yeah,
dude, I'm hungry.
It was amazing. Yeah, I'm hungry now.
Yeah. All this food
talk.
Good,
It was good. Oh, man. What adventures are you guys going on this year? Anything? Are you going to go and do anything wild or crazy apart from LA?
I don't know. I need to do something, dude. I'm festering. I got to do something fun, something cool.
Me and my friends, like, I found this, there's a place, where is it? It's, I think it's in Poland. They do, at the start of every year, they have like this lights festival, and basically they light up all of their, oh my God, all the ski runs and all the snowboard runs. So like you can go at nighttime and it's like, you know, like a esports player's like RGB rig lighting all the way down. And I was like, it looks so cool. I really want to go and do that. I think it'd be really, really super fun. Like night skiing, night snowboarding, when it's all like that. That sounds kind of cool. But the thing is, like, because I travel a bit for work for all the different bits, but I then never end up having like an actual holiday where it's just like not somehow related to work, which is sort of a bit crap. I should really do that.
Have you guys ever read about or heard about Vienna's ball season? Make a joke.
Go
Do
on.
it. No, it's time.
No,
you have to make it now.
Ball season.
I mean, I was
Looks
thinking.
like they could use a little Cox.
I feel like Cox sponsors the ball season. Also, funnily enough, they if you go there, they have Mozart balls, right? That's what they sell at like all the airports. They're just like marzipan balls, but they're basically Mozart balls. You're like,
But what is ball season?
So in Vienna, there's a certain time of year, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, about this, but I was watching a bunch of videos and stuff about this because I found it really fascinating. They have a whole season in the year that is ball season in Austria, and there are just tons of balls, like old-timey style balls in all of these manors and things. And you can buy, I guess, like a ticket to be like, yeah, I'm just gonna ball hop.
that sounds great. Yeah, like
with ball gowns and suits and
I honestly, up until you said I'm gonna ball hop, I thought you were like, they have all these manors with balls. I thought you would like go in and look at a ball and be like, wow, that's cylindrical. And you like,
like a dance, like a fancy dance.
Okay.
Yeah,
we're on the same page.
like carnival, like carnival. Yeah.
And everybody gets like
fun.
Right? Everybody gets like super dressed up. And you just go to a bunch of balls, and I guess like during ball season or when all of the big ones are happening, the cafes just stay open 24 hours. So when you're just like, all right, I'm over it, you could just go to a cafe and get a coffee in your giant outfit, whatever it may be, and just drink coffee at 4 a.m.
I have a story about wearing a ball gown to an inappropriate place, if you would like to hear it.
I would love to. I've never worn a ball
Where
gown,
I was,
so I'm going to live through you on this.
Skidding across the floor at St. Moritz. I got, because obviously like Warner Brothers do games, so like sometimes when Warner Brothers do films, they'll like put us forward. And I think it was one of the first movies they ever, like premieres they asked me to go to, and it was for the final Harry Potter.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I'm going to go because, like when's that going to happen again? So I'm wearing like a full gown. It's like my first ever one. And it was really, really big in London. So they took over the whole of Trafalgar Square. They were showing it in 3 or 4 cinemas. They had like owls on the red carpet. Like it was wild. It was huge pageantry, right? Anyway, so we go in and we sit down, and then it's kind of like that preamble where someone's like, it's the most amazing moment in cinema history, and interviewing people and all this stuff. And I'm like, God, all right, get on with it. So I've never read a Harry Potter book or seen any of the films. Right?
Oh, you're just going in hard for the last one. Okay.
But I was like, cool. And I was kind of okay with it. But like after sitting for an hour listening to all this spiel in the cinema, I was like, I really don't want to be here. Like I'm like convincing myself not to stay. But like, and I had a friend of mine who was going out to like this beer festival that night. So I was messaging them and I was like, oh, you still going to that beer festival? And they were like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, well, I'll like come join, whatever. And then basically, as soon as the film started, like I basically got up and left. Sorry, everyone, but I was like, I'm not going to understand any of it, and it was like really late. So I left, and I went to the bathroom before I left because I was going all the way into West London, and on the way back, I had to walk back out down the red carpet. And as I'm doing it, like in my gown and whatever, like everyone's laughing at me, and I'm like, what? Like, why is everyone laughing at me? Is it because I'm leaving? And then I got around the corner and realised I had a trail of toilet paper stuck to my shoe down the red carpet. I was like,
oh my God, that's so classic. That's
right?
amazing.
Like, ridiculous. Anyway, so then I get on the train, turn up at this beer festival in Ealing, and literally everyone is there with like Barber jackets and wellies on. And I turned up like in this gown.
Yes,
and then spent the rest of the night
though.
drinking pints of beer in like a field, like in the most stupid outfit after being laughed at by lots of Harry Potter fans.
It sounds like an amazing night, to be honest.
And also, who wants a night when things go swimmingly? It's so boring. It's much funnier when like you're made a complete arse of.
Yeah, this is a good story to tell. You know,
you're such a Hufflepuff.
Is that a thing?
You know what? You're the consummate professional over here. Laughed with no context. Just like, you know what? That was good.
Yeah.
That was a good joke. I'm going to give the man what he wants.
Might be a Hufflepuff.
And Yeah, and then you know what? I don't even know what that means.
No,
I'm
I
gonna
do
give
know
the
what
man what he
Hufflepuff
wants.
means, but I don't know what I never did the Facebook quizzes.
Sure.
Okay, so I don't know.
What and why would you if you never like read the books or anything, right?
I mean, I've seen it all now, but like, you know, at the time,
Yeah.
it's impossible not to see them. It's like every Christmas TV channel over here from
Dude.
like the whole of December. It's just Harry. Why is Harry Potter a Christmas film? Like, I don't feel like it is.
I think one of them takes place over Christmas. I don't know. I never got into Harry Potter. It was never my thing. So it's whatever.
It's whatever.
It's whatever.
I've been thinking about doing a Lord of the Rings rewatch. I think it's time for that.
Ah. Yeah,
been
I
a
was talking about this the other day. So there's a cinema in London. I don't know if you've been to it, called the Prince Charles. So it's funny when the king became the king. Like they posted up this picture saying like, "No, we're not changing our name," which I thought was quite funny. They had it on the outside of the cinema. Anyway.
Amazing.
But it's basically where you used to go if you were like a student. It's just off Leicester Square, but they used to do like really cheap day tickets. So like if you were a skint and a student in London, you could go there. But what they tend to do is they show loads of different stuff. So I went on Saturday with my friend Jane, and we saw Perfect Blue because I'd never seen it before, and I've
never
heard
seen
things
it
about
either.
it. Really good, but yeah, so it's quite good. So you can go and like watch it. They'll do loads of like old screenings of like older movies, like renowned kind of movies and stuff like that. So yeah, that's quite fun. You should definitely check that out as well. But basically, they do all nighters and stuff like that, so you can go there and like, watch
fun.
the whole Lord of the Rings from back to back. Or I think they did one that was during the day. It was like 11 till 11. And you could just watch like all of them. But that's kind of wild. I tried doing an overnight one once. It was like the Bourne movies. And like after about the second one started, I was like, I don't care. I'm just going to get to
I
sleep.
don't know if I could. Yeah, if I could sit through all of the Bourne movies back to back.
But also like as a replacement of sleep, I would take
Right.
the fucking sleep. Like why?
Yes.
Shut up, Matt Damon. No, quiet now. let me nap. But they do loads of good stuff like that. So if you come down to London, I bet you they'll do like a screening. You could do like on a whole day.
That would be
Watch it on
super
cinema
fun.
screen. And they sell beer there, which is fun. So you can like drink alcohol and watch the movies.
Well, that's why you were like, sorry, Matt, I'm going to bed.
Good night, dude.
Shut up! You're so noisy. I'm gonna sleep back here. Come on, turn the bass down.
It's pretty hard for anything to convince me that I should do that instead of sleeping.
Right?
I
But
love a full night's sleep, dude.
It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. Like you just feel terrible like the whole rest of the week. It's just there's nothing worth doing. No. Even on planes, it's fucking annoying. Nope.
Yeah, not getting sleep. So rough. Just having to wake up early to like get on podcasts or something. That's so rough.
Outrageous. Why would anyone do that?
Hee hee. Are you sleepy,
Hey.
bud?
No, not at all. I haven't spent the last 4 days ODing Final Fantasy VII.
Don't you?
So, and definitely not going to bed at reasonable times, and not doing anything. It's been a lot. But if you haven't played it yet, boy, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It is a thing. One of the wackiest things I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm not going to spoil it. I will say there's a lot of mini games, and they are insane mini games.
Really?
100% played for a laugh. Oh yeah.
Oh, interesting.
It's crazy. I'm so pleased that it's a very funny vibe. I don't know how to describe it. Like it is played for comedy. I don't know when it's gonna switch, but right now, 20 hours in, most of the game is like hilarious. It is very it is, I guess chat's saying it's kind of like Yakuza or Yakuza. But it's very fun, but I couldn't tell you what's happening in this game. I don't know I'm like, things happen and I'm like, what does that mean? What is that? I often wonder if anyone hasn't played the original Final Fantasy VII or remake, if they understand what the hell's going on in Rebirth.
Is it like super referential?
But also
extremely.
But you know, like with even like with James Bond films, right? You know, there's like a MacGuffin and there's thing, and he goes from here to there, and you're kind of like, you don't really know why it's happening. It's just whatever. Sometimes I feel like because games are so long, even with narrative games, you're a bit like halfway through, you're like, I can't remember why we were like going to this thing now, but like, okay, sure. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I think maybe these games are really long as well.
The biggest problem with that I and it's not a problem. It's just one that I think might be a problem with Rebirth is that Final Fantasy VII Remake was like, y'all remember Final Fantasy VII, right? And it was that simple. I'm so glad I went back and played through Crisis Core, even though I hate Crisis Core and like Dirge of Cerberus. And all. Here's the thing: in Rebirth, a character showed up recently that I was like, who the hell is this guy? Clearly, it's someone we should know because they did like a flashback thing. Like, who the hell is this guy? And chat was like, oh, that's from the game Ever Crisis, which is the mobile gacha game. And I'm like,
no!
They're Kingdom Hearting Final Fantasy VII? Wow. You can't do this. You can't do this. I can't play every game. And I was like, if you don't know what this means, how lost are you as a player? Again, the game is incredibly fun, but they're throwing in like, we're including everything.
References
it's
to
all
everything.
one of them. And I'm like, what the shit does that mean? Who's that guy? What's that thing? And I don't know if they'll explain it. I hope by the end something's explained, but there's a lot of stuff that's like, remember this thing from that game that you didn't play? I'm like, no, I don't remember.
Members.
What is it? But yeah, and the only reason why I started playing all these other games is because in the trailer for Rebirth, there was a character that I did not recognize, and everyone in chat was like, oh, and I was like, what's that character from? Like, oh, that character is from Crisis Core. And I was like, do I have to play Crisis Core? And they're like, no, you don't have to play. I was like, I got to play Crisis Core if I want to know what this is. So I played through all of Crisis Core, which I hated. And I'm like, okay, now I'm prepared. And the game was like, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is like, you didn't play all the games though, did you? And now I feel like I'm playing Kingdom Hearts 2, where I missed like Dream Drop Distance and whatever that. I'm like, I kind of know what's happening, but I also don't know what's happening. And so
I wonder if, I bet somebody on YouTube has made like here's
like
all the important
roundup.
stuff from all of the Final Fantasy VII like properties. Yeah, that must exist.
That has to exist.
Because I will not be playing Crisis Core. You did not pitch it in a way last week that made me go, I should do that. I will not be doing that.
My hair. He's eating my hair. What's crazy to me is that I knew I was in for a ride when I finally went back and played Intermission, which is the Yuffie standalone story that's like, a few hours long that takes place after Remake. And that game straight up is like, does anyone remember Dirge of Cerberus, the 2007 Vincent game? Because you better remember it. And it's like,
I do. I loved that game.
Yeah, same. And I was like, wait a minute. So that's canon now? And that's going to happen?
Wow.
And they're like, yeah, it is. And so there's a lot. There's a lot going on, and I hope it all pays off because all the reviews are like, this game's amazing. But it feels like there's so much happening that either I am 20 hours into a 100-hour game or this game's going to end up being nonsense. I don't know. It's good. It's great. But I'm a little like,
a bit obtuse though, because it's kind of like it shouldn't be that deep, because then it's like who the fuck's gonna know? That's gonna be such a tiny percentage of players. Do you know what I mean? Who are actually gonna get like all of it, which seems
plus
a bit.
The experience is like, if I like my biggest critique with 16 was it would be like story, 15 side quests that would pull you out of the story. Like that's my biggest critique of that game. And in this game, it's like while you're running around doing stuff, the character development is so much better than the original. Like watching your team come together and the relationships build is so good. I absolutely love the way they're doing it in Rebirth. But the gameplay, like just to give you without spoiling anything, like here's the gameplay. It's like wind up in a new area, huge open world. Yeah, and it's like, okay, there's where I need to go. It's over there, but I know if I go over there and do that, like story-driven moment's gonna happen, and I'm not gonna be able to do the open world stuff. So I gotta go to the open world stuff. So you run around doing the open world stuff, and you're like doing literally Far Cry towers, and you're going around, you're doing stuff. And it's cool, but it's 5 hours later you've completed the map. You've fought the super boss at the end of the map. You've gone around, you've hung out with Moogles, you've done all sorts of crazy stuff. You've met NPCs, you've done smaller stories, you've grown the bonds of your character. But it's been 5 hours since you've even remotely gone down the main story. You're like, okay, back to the main story. So you go down the main story, and then a bunch of story beats happens, and some fights happen, and there's some cool stuff, and then mini game. And you're like, okay, I'm in a mini game, and now you're trying to master a mini game, and then the mini game leads to another story beat, and that story beat leads to another fight, and then you get another fight, and then it's like, here's 45 minutes of a card game that you must do. It's part of the story.
No, I don't want to be forced into a mini game. It should be optional, surely.
And the thing is, I love the mini game, so I don't give a shit. I love that part, but it is weird that one of the chapters is like 80% the mini game and then a fight. And then it's like, all right, you did it. Moving on to the next section. And so
that's very odd.
It's designed to be played. It's super fun. It is, anyone who tries to compare 7 Rebirth to 16, good luck. It is two vastly different games. Like 16 is very clearly played for drama and characterization. And 7 Rebirth is like, we're having a fun time. This is going to be fun. And it is. It is very fun. Like, the way I'm talking about it seems like I'm complaining. I'm not. It's just like a incredibly crazy way to make a game. But I'm having a good time. I'm having fun. It's just like a lot. And it is very, like, I think I don't remember playing any mini games in 16. And in 7 Rebirth, I played at least 6 to this point, and I haven't even touched the gold saucer.
Damn, yeah.
So it is like so many. There is straight up every, like they had Fort Condor, which was from Intermission. They brought that back for this one. So that's one major mini game. They have a card game. That's another major mini game. They have all these different things. They're like, yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. There's a dance one. You're doing the formations as a soldier. There's all sorts of different things. I'm just like, this is a lot. It's fun, but it's a lot.
Right.
And again, I don't know. I don't know how a player would understand what's going on. Like, if you are a player who's played 7 and now you're experiencing Rebirth, which is what I've done, it is like, yeah, I'm so glad this is better and this thing's better. And I love the characters. They gave all the characters a vibe now. Like, I actually love Yuffie instead of thinking she's annoying. I love like the way that they have Aerith and Tifa like buds together. They're like best buds. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on. And then everyone just mocks the shit out of Cloud. It's so good.
Right.
There's so
Sam
much
said the
happening.
characterization is like amazing in this one.
So good. It's really, really good. And I experienced the scene with Red last time I played that might be one of the funniest. Like, I didn't just laugh. I like guffawed. It was so funny.
Yeah.
And it's really well done. And so I think they're trying very hard to make you care about the world and get you invested. But again, my biggest thing is, if you are just coming in fresh and you don't have 20 years of Final Fantasy experience, what do you think when you see this?
Someone has to have done a video on that. Like, I've never played. I would watch that. Like, I've never played any of the other games. Here's my first impression. What the?
Yeah, I don't know what you
most
would think.
games. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds
that
kinda
would be
wild.
valuable. I feel like I played Rebirth and I never played Final Fantasy before, or Final Fantasy 7. Here's how I felt about it, kind of a thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I would imagine you'd have to play Remake first, but even Remake is so vastly different from this game.
Right.
Like, it is.
Wow. Okay. Right.
Rebirth is a great game. It's just so completely different from all the other Final Fantasies, which is fine, because 16 was completely different from all the other Final Fantasies. But it's one of those things where it's just like, I have so many questions about design philosophy and whether they were like, F it. People need to get on the train. If they're not on the, it's like Marvel movies. If you're not on the train, you didn't see the last 16 movies, we just don't care.
Right.
We're going to introduce all these, and it pays off or it doesn't. Sometimes in Marvel movies, you're like, what the hell did I just watch? I don't know. This could be one of the best. This could be game of the year, or it could be an insane treat just for a very specific group of people. I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen. But I'm excited. But I have no answers.
There was a review for, I think it was like Avengers Endgame, and they got like slated online over here because basically the person who'd gone to review it was like, "What the fucking hell is going on? Who's this person?" And obviously, like everyone was like, "Why have you like you can't tell everyone everything at the start of every film just for the." You know, the people who haven't fucking seen, like, it's the end of a Jesus Christ, yeah. They got basically really slated online, but it was like, who's this person? They haven't explained anything. Who are these people? You're like, dude, it's like, come on now.
Yeah, you missed out.
Where have you been? You should have just by osmosis know most of these people anyway. What's going on?
That's always so fascinating to me when somebody's able to just like not even get spoiled on who characters are. Or like, you know, things like that. I'm just like, oh my gosh, you're so pure. How do we keep you this way? How do we help you go into this totally blind the way that the children did, you know?
Yeah. There's something nice about going into things quite fresh. I do that a lot with films actually as well. Like I try not to read too much. Like I'll get the gist if like it's going to be a good film if lots of people have talked about it, and then I'll try and like I'll get like sort of like roughly what the top line is, but then I'll try not to read any reviews or anything. So I just remember like having things like when you're primed yourself in a certain way about how something's going to be, and then it's not. You're disappointed because you go in there thinking that it's going to be a certain way or whatever. And that doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. It's just that you've like something's jumbled up your perception of like how it's going to be. So I try to like, I think it's better to be almost like clear of too much knowledge going into things just to sort of experience it. I don't know.
Yeah, I totally agree. I originally, I stopped trying to watch trailers as often because I felt like they revealed too much.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. I'm also now running into an issue where sometimes I'll watch a trailer and be like, that is not. Elementals was like this for me. Watched the trailer for Elementals and was like, I don't really have an interest in a Romeo and Juliet between a fire girl and a water boy. You know, that sounds pretty boring to me.
Yeah.
And that's not at all what the movie was, but that's what all of the marketing said that it was, because for some reason they thought pitching it that way would be best.
But it's stupid because it's like a short-term gain, because then afterwards everyone's like, that's bollocks. Like
that's not what this was about. Yeah.
Like, yeah. I remember that one of the most interesting ones I think I remember was, did you ever see I Love You, Philip Morris? So it's a story, it's Ewan McGregor and, oh my God, Jim Carrey. It's a true story about this American con artist, right? Who was embezzling loads of money, and anyone he like ends up like going to prison, and he's now on like 23 hours of lockdown because he kept trying to escape. And it's actually pretty true to the story, like the ways he escaped, and like he dyed his like scrubs with like ink pens and managed to get out of prison. Like he broke out of prison all the time.
Oh, interesting.
And he's a gay man, right? And he kept getting caught because he's in love with this guy called Philip Morris. And he keeps going every time he breaks out. He just goes to see him.
Always goes immediately to Philip. Oh man.
Yeah. But like the way that they pitched it in the trailer was like, he's like a gay con man, like he's pretending to be gay to con people, and you're like, no,
oh, weird.
He's just a con man who is gay. Like it's not his shtick. It's not like he's going there and like doing some kind of weird honey traps, and like he's just a gay man who is also a criminal. Like it's not. But it was really funny because when I watched it, I was like, wow, this is. I thought, yeah, it's totally different. It really kind of changes it. Also, it's a very good film. It's very funny. It's actually a really funny film.
The pitch is really funny. The idea of somebody getting caught because they literally can't stay away from this one person, like
come to his house,
bro.
Yeah, and they have in the film they actually have Philip Morris in the film in one of the scenes.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. Because this guy's now, he's on like 23 hours of lockdown because he has like 1 hour a day where he's like allowed outside of his cell because he kept trying to escape all the time and stuff like that.
Right.
It's sort of sweetly romantic in a sort of demented kind of a way. I don't know, but like you're just going to be caught again. Anyway, it's a good film if you haven't seen it. It's quite funny.
Amazing. I want to watch that. No, I'm gonna look. I was thinking about whether or not I should try to rely on my own memory,
or just know that you're.
Or if I should bring up a tab with the movie up so that I go. That's right. The movie. That's right.
I have like 200 tabs open on my phone. It's outrageous. I can't remember anything. I just can't. My brain is absolute trash. Useless.
I usually have a bunch of tabs open, yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise, if you close it, then you'll never remember.
Exactly.
What was the thing you thought of at that exact moment?
And then I say this, right? And then there's always some yahoo who's like, then just bookmark the ones that you need to remember again. The second something goes into bookmarks, it doesn't exist anymore for me, dude.
It anymore.
I'm never
Unless
opening
it's like,
that.
No, never.
No.
I need a tab open constantly.
Yeah.
All the time.
This is the most aggravating part of every conversation I have with you guys. Are just like, yeah, you do the thing that annoys me? Cool. That's cool. That's so cool. That's so cool.
Really?
Tab hoarders are a problem.
Do you want to see how many
you, dude?
Do you want to see how many emails I have?
Oh, yes. Beautiful. It's in the tens of thousands. I do know that.
20,167. Let me tell you, when you work in video games, man, do you get some spam constantly?
Yes.
All the time.
God.
Press
You don't delete
releases,
it? You don't
things.
just delete?
But like, that's so much effort. I could just leave it and then never read it.
What a vibe.
Look, if anyone's important, they're flagged in VIP. Everything else is just a hot trash fire that gets ignored.
Occasionally I'll click the box that's like select literally every email and I'll just archive everything and start with a totally clean slate.
Yeah. Just get rid of it. I'm never going to read this stuff. Forget it.
Yep.
I have 110 emails, and most of those today I will go through and just delete. Because it's all, like, you're right, it's all spammy stuff. But I'm like, oh, I can't have 110. That's too much. Delete. I'll go the minute we're done. I will go through all those.
What if you're then like, oh, there was that email, I saw it for a brief second and it was about this thing, and then now I've deleted it and it's gone.
But I won't do that. I mean, I
might not, but I might.
It says, and I'll be like, I'm not gonna be like delete. I'll be like, no. Okay.
Because sometimes also like I will at the time not be like, oh, I need this person's contact details or whatever, and then later on I'll be like, oh yeah, wait, I did get an email about such and such game, and then it's got the person who I need.
Then just do mark as read.
Well, I could do that, maybe.
Just mark as read 20,000 emails, and then you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then
I'm gonna get up to 100 this time. I'm gonna get up to 100, and then I'll stop. That's what I got up to last time. 100. And then
you're a monster. You're like Godzilla ripping through Tokyo, just unstoppable, and someone needs to take you down.
It's very similar. I grant you that.
Yeah, you're the Godzilla of emails. You're like on emails, and it's just too much. 100,000 emails coming out.
Look at it. I'm not going to put it in your face much.
You did that. You literally did. You went like that.
And now I know every time I see you from this point on, I'm going to keep doing it, and I'm not going to mark the walls red. And every time I see you, it's going to be more, so much more.
There will come a point where I become more impressed by it. Right now, I'm recoiling with terror, but there will be a point where it's like over 100,000. I'll be like, damn, that is an impressive commitment. To a bit. I can't hate it. Yeah.
Do you remember last week you asked me what all of the tabs were that I had up, and I read them off?
Yeah.
Because this conversation came up, I immediately started clicking through all of my tabs to be like, would I be embarrassed to say out loud what any of these tabs are? And the answer is no. So I think I'm still doing okay.
What is the potentially most embarrassing one?
The cake resume, what cake are you quiz that I took. I'm a macaroon, if you must know.
I will so I'm a saver. Or instead of keeping the tabs open, I just I'll save the link, right?
Yeah.
And most of mine are literally just Foundry for our D&D game, or that kind of stuff. But I have one tab which I'm obsessed with. It's from AV Club, and it's called "Nobody's Watching: The Strange Genius of the Fourth Season of Till Death" from June 22nd, 2010. And I am obsessed with this show. Okay. And I want to make a video about it because more people need to know the show exists because it's insane. So imagine the most mediocre, basic cable Fox TV show in the world, starring the the brother from Everybody Loves Raymond as
Oh God, him. Okay.
yeah, so it's him, and he's like married, and the whole point, again, very like mediocre show where it's like it's a husband and wife, and like, you know, it's called Till Death, and it's two people that kind of like, do they love each other because they fight all the time, like that vibe, right? And it goes, the first season, nobody watches. It gets a bunch of episodes, and then somehow it's renewed for a second season. And then nobody watches, and somehow it's renewed for a third season with more episodes. Nobody watches. So then, because I assume nobody's watching, in the fourth season, they introduce a character that moves in with them. Except, and this is the genius insanity, because I guess because no one was watching, this character recognizes they're on a TV show and breaks the fourth wall. And it's like, why are you guys fighting? You're not even married. There's an audience watching us. Like, it's that kind of insanity, but it's only for that season, and then the show ends. And I'm like, what is happening? I must watch this show. I must watch it. And so I'm trying to find it so I can watch this entire I want to deep dive this because it seems crazy to me that they took this show, and I guess the writers were like, well, if no one's going to watch this, to keep it a pay us to make it, we're just going to do something weird.
Just do whatever we want.
Literally, the character's
so
like,
strange. They like cancel so many things so quickly. It seems so bizarre that they would keep it.
That's what I'm saying. But I guess because it's cable TV compared to like, I mean, the rhyme and reason of streaming services makes no sense to me. They will cancel a thing that's popular just cause, and I cannot explain it to you. There's no reasoning behind it. Even if you talk to people who work there, they're like,
no clue. Yeah.
No
and
idea.
then anytime you look at a tweet by Netflix or some shit, all of the comments are, bring back insert show.
Yeah.
It like completely eliminates the discussion element of even using social media. So I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. Should I tell you what I watched recently that was really good?
Yeah.
Was Mr. and Mrs. Smith with
the new one.
So good. Like really fucking good.
I haven't seen the new one.
It's genuinely, better than the movie, infinitely. Really, really good. He's really, really funny. It's fucking hilarious.
Can I, speaking of Donald Glover,
Yes.
I want to give a recommendation because I love Donald Glover, but pre-being famous, Donald Glover made YouTube videos.
Really?
And I just want to,
Timothy Chalamet.
I must stress this. Go, I think it might still be on YouTube. Go look up Donald Glover poop my pants. It is, it's just him pooping his pants in a classroom and pretending he didn't. And it is the most over the top, goofy, insane thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And it is so good. So good. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And so that's what I'll say. It's incredible to me that you can find, like, we've hit the point where a lot of celebrities made stuff in college before, it was Derek Comedy, before they were famous.
Yeah. Wouldn't you just take it down?
And you can just find it all online, and it's wacky.
Oh, wow. The resolution of this video is from a long time ago.
Early YouTube sketch groups. Yep. That's what it is. It's like real early YouTube. But yeah. Yep. I poop my pants. It's really funny. That's all I can think about. All right. Sorry.
Speaking of recommendations, Jules, we didn't give you a heads up about this. I'm so sorry. But every time we have a guest on, at the very end of the show, we ask them to recommend as like homework a movie, a game, a book, whatever that you think everybody should give a shot. What would be
so
your
most
recommendation for people.
Most recently, I read, although it came out I think like last year, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. I know there was apparently like some controversy when it came out because it's about like video games. I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was a nice story and I enjoyed it. So
it's just called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow.
Tomorrow and Tomorrow. Yeah, it's about these two people who grow up as like best friends and they love playing games together, and then they set up like a studio and then make games together, and it's kind of like about their story over the course of their life. I thought it was really sweet. So it was really sweet, really nice. What did I see? Oh, movies I've seen in the cinema. I've seen. I saw Past Lives, Poor Things, Zone of Interest. Oh fuck me!
What is that?
Oh god! So it's basically about the guy who runs Auschwitz and his family.
Oh god!
And about their life and about kind of like the minutiae of bureaucracy around genocide. It's a lot.
So it's heavy.
It's really heavy, and what they've done that's really clever is the sound design in it is just it's so jarring. So they live next to Auschwitz,
right?
So like she's got this beautiful. She's like, oh, the begonias are looking really good this year, and you can hear this like screaming, a noise from the camps, right? And basically it tells the story of the camps existing, and then when they build like the furnace and the gas chambers, and then everything that subsequently happens after that. And like there's a bit in it where the guy who runs it is not that happy about what's going to happen, but he doesn't really have a choice. Like he tries to leave, and they're like, no, you're looking after this camp, and that's what you're doing. And then this guy like comes around his house, and it's like they're talking about a conservatory,
right?
Like this is how it's going to go, and then it's going to rotate so that you can get the maximum amount of people through it, and like blah blah blah, and it's going to be really efficient and all this sort of stuff. It's horrifically jarring, obviously, to watch, especially in kind of like recent days with what's kind of going on.
Of course.
And just the sound design. It's like deliberately like aggressive and difficult and very very hard to watch. But I think it's something that's worth understanding, because it's basically obviously telling the tale about what it is to be complicit when you're in that kind of situation. And obviously I'm not saying it excuses him as the person who runs the camp or whatever, but he sort of is in a position where it's not really like he can say no. I mean, but then there are other people within the story who like the wife's mother comes and she's like, oh, you've done so well for yourself, look at all you've accomplished, this beautiful house, like talking while there's this stuff going on in the background,
right?
And then once the chambers have like been built, she's like drinking and looking out the window in this furnace that burns all day and all night, and then she just disappears. And it's like how each person deals with being complicit in something horrific. Horrible. The worst thing ever. Yeah, awful. But just in terms of filmmaking and in terms of what it's talking about, is just it's, if you can sit through it, I would say it's definitely worth watching, because I think it's important to be kind of reminded of these things, because so yeah. And then Poor Things, that was an interesting tale. It's not by any means a feminist movie as it was originally kind of like pitched, because it's a feminist movie from a man's perspective, because obviously but it's beautiful. All the set designs, like all the costumes, everything, and it's just sort of wildly weird and strange. And Mark Ruffalo is so fucking funny in it. It's this like lovelorn, like, what? Leave me! And you're like, that's quite funny. It's definitely worth a watch. Also, what else? Yeah, I saw quite a lot actually recently. And then Perfect Blue, which I'd never seen before. That was great.
Perfect Blue was like, a trip.
Yeah. And it was like 1997 or something. And you can see why it's like a seminal moment, like the editing in it and how it cuts between things, and it was really, really, really good. And the games wise, I'm still playing Alan Wake 2. I haven't finished it yet because I really like people to be here when I'm playing it, and I haven't convinced anyone to come around till we finish it. I'm kind of terrified. And I scream. And Baldur's Gate. And Baldur's Gate, I've been really enjoying, but as someone who just doesn't ever play D&D, I found it quite challenging to like for it to click. It's taken me quite a long time to understand what the fuck I'm doing,
right?
Because I just don't know the just the very simple basics of it. I don't think I know very well. But now I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not like dying constantly in battle. I'm like, okay, I actually have like a strategy. Like I understand that I need to do this for this to this, and this person needs to do this thing, and like I'm starting, like it's sinking in, and it's becoming a lot more fun, because I was like, although there are some like weird glitchy bits in it where you have to keep going back and like reloading saves and stuff, but I'm enjoying it though. It's really, really fun. I'm trying to think like what else. That's literally all I've been playing, those two.
I mean that's plenty of homework, I think.
I mean, I'm not out of Act 1 in Baldur's Gate. Like it's ridiculous. Like I'm still just twatting about. Like my game time is really isn't that big, but it's a lie because it is, because I kept going back and reloading saves because I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
And being like, oh God, no, that seems a bit permanent. Let's go back. And then reload it. Yeah, but there's loads of great stuff at the cinema at the moment, like loads of really, really interesting films. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm interested. BAFTA Games Awards. That's gonna be interesting. Like next month. That'll be interesting to see who gets what for that.
For sure.
20th year. So we'll see. Trying to get Jim Ryan to come. I was like, come on, Jim. It's your last one. Come on, Jim. But we'll see. Yeah, that should be fun. You guys should come over for it. Why don't you come over?
I think that would be fun.
They couldn't handle me.
Don't say that.
I'd show up to the BAFTAs, red, white, and blue suit.
Good.
They would probably love that. They'd be like, cool, okay.
You know, red, white, and blue is also
the British flag.
No, but I have like an actual American flag suit.
Okay.
With fireworks coming out of my back as I roller skated in.
Yeah, okay, good.
I think you should turn up.
Just wanted you to specify, yeah.
Yeah.
And like the fireworks would propel me in on my roller skates. Yeah.
I think they would enjoy that.
Yeah,
immensely.
I think so too.
Jules,
thank you so much for joining us on Geekenders. Do you want to tell everybody where they can watch you doing your thing?
I have full disclosure. I haven't streamed in ages. I am awful. So don't follow my Twitch. There's no point. Forget it. I'm normally just like dicking about on social media, on like Instagram and TikTok and stuff. But like work-wise, Game on Grandparents. If you're in the UK, that will be coming out soon. Unfortunately, no one else can watch it because it's the BBC and it is the most heavily region-locked thing you will ever see in your life. But yeah, so there should be some other stuff coming up later in the year, but it's not really anything I can like chat about yet. But I don't know. I'll see you guys at some point.
Yeah, I'll hop out of my hole.
Do it.
I'll come hang. Yeah.
And then we can vid chat Jesse, and you can be doing it from here, so he can be like jealous.
Perfect.
I'm already jealous. Again, I must stress, I love your apartment, and
it's fun.
Seeing you post photos of it enrages me because it's a beautiful place, and my apartment continually falls apart. So
it's because you guys keep building things out of wood. What's that about?
It's a coast thing. West Coast loves
wood.
A
contractor, I don't know.
East Coast loves bricks, dude.
Why would you? Just you'd want it to last.
Not really. It's not my place. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna move out.
Well, you're very welcome over whenever you want. You know, I'll take you back to St. Moritz.
Yeah,
no, we don't have to go there.
I want to hang out with some old dudes in a basement. That sounds fun.
It is like really stupid. It's such a stupid place. Tis a silly place.
Yes. And if you missed out on the conversation about that and you're like, old men in a basement, what? Yeah. Maybe you want to check out the VOD later. It will not be here. It'll be on Jesse Cox's channel, youtube.com/Jesse Cox. That's where all of the Geekenders are. We also go up on a podcasty sort of things if you want to listen to us audio only. So you can check those out after this is finished. But otherwise, Jesse, do you have anything else to add, dude?
Thanks for watching. And remember, I actually do like Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, even though I know I'm going to get messages that are like, he said he hates it.
I can't believe
he said he hates it. No, I just want to know what people who haven't played it before think. That's all. Don't come for me. I'm not worth coming for. Don't come while I'm in the room. It's fine.
Cool.
Unless you're an old lady. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Bye.
Yeah, you know what time it is. It's time for the Geekenders podcast. MegaRan, Jesse and Dodger, what up? Let's go. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow and see what the Geekenders are all about. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt. Yo, another end of another long week. Got a job and a kid, I know that you all beat. So take a second, grab a drink and vibe while we catch you up in just a matter of time. On gaming, comics, whatever you're doing. If you're nerdy like us, then you know you should tune in. Thank you you for sharing our world with us. Now follow, subscribe, and turn this up. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, scream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast without a doubt.